And welcome back to Career Build Series episode 218. And so we're going to get right in Proteus here. Did a bunch of work, did some stuff on brakes, did differential brake, and I'll kind of show you that in a little bit. But I want to get moving here. Um, this video has been taking me a little while putting together, so I'm having some issues getting Proteus set up. I made a bunch of changes, and I'm trying to live with how I'm doing it and tweaking it. So I'll try to get right at it. I intended to do this last video and had issues. And so I want to get moving here. And so let's go ahead and get in the cockpit. Oh, I just captured myself behind the door. Okay, very cool. Let's go ahead and jump in. I want to get started here. So let's go up. I need a crossfeed to starboard. Just starting all my engines. I don't want to deal with them right now. I want to just get them going. Get that crossfeed going. I'm going to put about 2,000 pounds in there. And then I'm going to stop and focus on it. So I'm going to go bringing up my prop pitch. I need to fix all my prop pitch and my RPMs, get them to my final. But so essentially what I added, let me watch this crossfeed for a second here. Okay, that's good for now. I'll fix it in a second. Put flaps down for takeoff. I should double check my tail number. Charlie 6893 Alpha, we are ready to taxi to runway 8, looking to head directly to Tajin via military base. 93 Alpha, go ahead and turn right on Alpha and hold short of runway 8. Turn right on Alpha, hold short of runway 8, 93 Alpha. Alright, so what I did is if my rudder goes over 0.5, so if I give it more than half of my rudder, so let's say I go more than half rudder to the right. I'm going to start adding brake on my starboard main, and so that's differential braking. On the top of your rudder pedals, you have your brakes, so you can do differential braking where, like right now, I'm adding brake to that right side, and so that is helping me turn. So not only is the tail wheel doing it, but it's letting my left wheels turn faster than my right wheels. As I come off of it, it's going to remove the brakes. And that's going to take braking off, so it's going to help me steer a little bit. All right, we're taxiing out here. So the first, let's start doing our navigation equipment here. So we're aviating, we're taxiing on the ground here. I need to put on beacon. Let's go ahead and put in the frequency for the military base. So military base is 600. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put that in. So we're aviating, navigating, we're doing all that. 600. 6. Let's go back to the screen here. So what I'm going to do is do HR heading radio. As you see, 311. 311 is going to take us directly to the military base. So we have a huge antenna in the tail of Proteus. That gives us a range of 20 kilometers. The range of the antenna at the military base is huge as well, so that's another 20. So we can read that out to 40 kilometers away. And so I think it's like something like 23 kilometers from where we are right now, so we're within the range. And what that's going to allow us to do is piggyback from station to station. So if you saw me do it in the Katie did have that small, tiny little antenna, so Katie did pretty much only had a 20-kilometer range. This has double the range to receive signals that Katie did does. So I'm going to start getting set up here. Clearance told us to head runway heading, which is 078. Climb and maintain 5,000. We don't have a ton of fuel. The point of this is to just check out the systems. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to set heading hold and altitude hold. Until I do AP, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to actually do it. I also move my brake to my space bar so I can add brakes. This makes more sense, like if I want to do static takeoff where I actually hold my brakes and thrust up. And so start tapping some brakes here. I'm bringing some throttle back. I still have too much propeller in there, so I'm doing that. So I'm just, now that I'm slowed down, I'm going to add some thrust. And with that differential braking, my left side's braking more. It's going to help me turn a little bit, I'm hoping. Still trying to get this working the best that I can. It is helping. As you can see, it's helping me turn now. It's because it's braking that left side. Charlie 6893 Alpha, go ahead and contact ground, or contact tower on 20.9. Over to tower 93 Alpha. Alright, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to hold the brakes here, and I'm going to contact tower. 93 Alpha, holding short of runway 8, we're ready to go. 93 Alpha, head runway heading up to climb maintain 5,000 feet. At 1,000 feet, you can turn direct to the military base. All right, we'll take off runway heading. We'll climb up to 5,000 feet. At 1,000 feet, we'll head direct to the military ADF. Clear for takeoff. 93 Alpha. Reback correct, 93 Alpha. All right, so let's go. I put my logo light on there, so we'll go ahead with that. We'll turn all our lights on. You often do this even in the day. That's to, did I turn that on? Okay, so see I did retract gear by accident. I keep doing that. I added something on there. I don't know if you saw that. I can only retract my gear when, I'm going to check my file, make sure nobody's coming to land. I only retract my gear when I'm 15 feet above the ground or not. So I have a distance sensor. So when I get off, so in real life you have squat switches on the gear that know if you're if your wheels are compressed or not. And so I'm using that distance sensor. So that's a bad human factors thing. I accidentally hit my gear when I mean to hit my parking brake. So I have to be careful of that where they are. So probably in real life you would move those. So I might move that parking brake back over here or something where it's out of the way. All right, let's do let's say fuel balance is fine. Before takeoff checklist, flaps are set. Props. So like if I didn't do it, the other person would just say props, and then when I set them, they go props set. All right, brakes are off. Lights are on. Before takeoff checklist complete. All right, cleared to take off. Start adding it in. So thrust is set. So I'm just setting the thrust I'm going to be taking off with. And so I'm going to take off with a very light amount of thrust. I don't need a ton of thrust with this to get off the ground. And there we go. Gently coming off the ground. Positive rate. Gear up. And gear is up. Now wait for 100 knots for flaps. Flaps up. Flaps up. Climb checklist. And we'll go ahead and we'll set the autopilot on. Climb check. Up. Traffic. Look at about 2 to 3 o'clock. 93 Alpha. You see that helicopter? If you're right now, about a 3 o'clock. Now, we used to do this in the airlines. We'd ignore them. We'd say looking. We would never. I didn't put my tail up. We'd say looking because once you say that you see the traffic, you have to. You're in charge of. Why is this not following my heading? Because heading radio is selected. Okay. You're responsible for making sure you don't hit traffic, and so we just let them. Okay, so we've passed 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet. Let's go head direct to the military base. 6893 Alpha. Go ahead and contact departure on 127.6. 127.693 Alpha. Thanks. Departure. This is 93 Alpha. We're 2,000 for 5,000. Head direct military. 93 Alpha. I forgot what they used to say to us. They'd say something. They just acknowledge us pretty much at that point. I'm going to start adding in my prop, and I'll ask for a climb checklist. Climb checklist. Prop is set. Thrust set. Climb checklist complete. All right, so we're starting to come over to 296. That's our heading to the military base. We're climbing, maintaining 5,000. So we're coming out of 3 right now. I need to watch my fuel. So let's go ahead and do some fuel. So now I have some time. We only had like a 5,000 pound imbalance. I can do like, I could have a 35,000 pound imbalance on this craft. So, this is a tiny bit of weight for this aircraft. So, a lot of people are like, why didn't you automate it? Even in the, in the airliners I flew, it was not automated. I had to do it myself. It will give you a ding. Eventually, what I'm going to be doing is putting in a. This will be my annunciator panel. That will have my caution and warning message. 4,000 feet for 5,000 feet. 4 for 5. And so that's, you want to call it your altitude 1,000 feet above. Now, this is when departure likes to call you. 6893 Alpha. Go ahead and climb, maintain 10,000. 10,000, 6893 Alpha. 10,000, you call it out. The other person says 10,000. Now we're going to continue our climb to 10,000 feet. Now you see we're pretty close on crossfeed. I'm going to check my temps. Temps are good. I need to work on manifold and RPM. They're not right. RPM should be prop, manifold should be throttles, but I have to figure out some way to fake manifold so it looks realistic. So I have to kind of figure that out. I want to get that looking correct. All right, so this is a 277 bearing 2. We're not headed the right direction here. What's up? Why? Okay, I didn't do HB. All right, so I didn't click the right button. So let's go ahead and heading radio, heading bearing. What's up here? I'll do it manually for now. 274. All right, I'm all screwed up here, so I have to figure out what's up with that next. Heading bearing, take that off. Heading radio. Why? Okay. So I screwed something up here, so I'm gonna do it manually. This is gonna be a pain. Should be me selecting heading bearing and here heading radial. I have to go into microcontroller and fix it now. But again, that's why I'm doing this, testing it out. So I mainly want to see what the system is doing here. So I'm going to wait till this rolls out on 274. Okay. And I'm going to check it here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it on heading hold. It's kind of a pain the way I have it set up. I have to fix it. So heading radio should be switching this over from keypad essentially to radio. And then heading bearing has me follow it, so I need to fix that up. So let me go ahead and check it here. I'm going to take heading hold off for a second. I'm going to go heading radio. That allows it. So 267. Okay, so it's going to north. That's wrong. Heading bearing. Okay, so there's a hierarchy problem. That's fine. Heading hold, 267. So it's about 267. So the system is the radios are working fine. It's something screwed up with my autopilot. So we're at 8,200 still. So as you can see, we're getting cold now. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heater on. And you see we're warming up. So heater's on. And that went away. So I have one heater heating the entire plane. So, you know, for RP, you might like the heaters for decoration or whatever. But, you know, even an aircraft this size, I need one heater. I have it in the center, so it should heat everything. But just for your information's sake, that should do it. 9,000 for 10,000. So one of the reasons I want to get up here is where it's colder up here. We needed the heater, so that's going to help me not... that's going to help cool my engines a little bit. Still have 3,000 pounds per side. I need to do some more fuel gauges where I can tell my burn rates. Probably put that under here. I can't put it there. Maybe I'll put a monitor here, add another monitor over here, something to see. I'll figure something out. I have some space. I don't have a ton of space left, but I could also just add a fuel page on here, which I might do. I just have to get there. 10,000. You know, we're level at 10. All right, so up at 10,000 feet here. We're headed there. I have to check it again, so I have to take off heading hold. I have to go heading radio. 262, heading hold. 262. So it's not ideal. It's working. I'll probably end up landing a little early just because lowish on fuel, and I need to fix this autopilot. So I'm going to go ahead and write this down on my... I'll go ahead and do my Google Drive here, so I'll bring that up here in a second when I get it. And that's how I tend to organize my builds. You know, as I think of things, for example, when I'm at work, I can do it. Why are you not on dark mode, Drive? Everything I do is on dark mode, and for some reason this came off dark mode, so that is frustrating. I don't like brightness. That's not the right one either. Okay, this is the one. Why did you come off dark mode? Let's see if I can get that on dark mode. Alright, so Google Windows probably updated and changed all my settings, but anyways, I'm going to write it down on paper because I can't not look at dark mode. I hate bright light. So so I need to fix AP. for HR and HB. Okay, so I'll tell you how I want this setup. So what I want to be able to do is, let's say that I know my next turn. So let's say I'm going to my my antenna, and I want to make my next turn, and so I'm going to head to, let's just do some things here really quick. We are moving, so I want to make sure that I can see everything here. So let's go ahead to the map. We are right there at the military base, so we're passing it right now. So the next station is here. That's going to be creative, which is, I just call it dual, which is 800. So let's go ahead and I'm going to track to that next. So I need to take off heading hold because I screwed the system up. I need to put in 800 here. 800, okay. So what I'll do is if that number is greater than 0, no, I don't know. I have to figure out a system. So 5-6 is my heading that I want to go. So 5-6 is my next heading. So the way I want this to work now that essentially I want to be able to keep heading hold on. And so I want to set them up in a hierarchy. I might not do that. We'll have to figure it out. But, and the benefit of that is, like, I could, if I knew my next term was going to be 5-6, what I can do, and this is good for instrument approach, is you put your next heading in. So let's say you go out on the radial from the point, and you know your next turn is going to be 5-6. All I have to do is deselect heading radio, and that will turn me right to the heading that I pre-select. So we used to be able to do that. You could move your bug, so your bug would show on your compass to right here, and then you'd be following your nav, and then as soon as they gave you a vector, you could then click heading, and it would switch you to your vector, and vice versa. You could put in your next nav and then have it switch the heading. So 6-2, I don't know if is that correct right now? Let's do HR. Let's do HH, HR. Nope, 349, okay. So 349 is the heading I want. So 349, that makes more sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. It should be west of north. So the beacons are working fine. So let me tell you what I actually did. It's hard to tell because the system screwed up. I've been working on Proteus. I literally tried doing this video like literally probably 7 times, and it was just issues with Proteus that I've been doing some other planes and some other vehicles, and so I forgot a bunch of stuff Proteus did. And I got into landing gear, and I got into brakes and all this other stuff. But anyways. So there are physicalized stations. I put a station at pretty much every airport. So there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. Let's see, where else did I put? Military base, up here, Draymore, Harrison, O'Neill. I think I have one here. Nothing there. And then what I also did was I started putting them in here on these islands. So there should be one here, should be one maybe there, I'm not sure. There's definitely one here, and then there's one here. So I think I have all the islands. I have here. Here. That's 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I put it in these 4 islands. And what this does, what this allows me to do is, once I get to here, I can then navigate. I get 40 kilometers past here because I have a huge antenna on the station here, on the ADF shack. And I also have a huge antenna on Proteus. So that allows me to go about 40 kilometers. Now, to put it in perspective, from here at Spy Cakes up to up around here, up in the Arctic, that is about 90 kilometers. So 45 kilometers would be about halfway. That's here. So I can go 45 kilometers from the station in Proteus. So what I could do is I could actually I could skip this station, go right to here. So I could probably get, if I could get to here, right, that gives me another 40 kilometers. So I could actually, in Proteus, because Proteus has 2 huge antennas, and if you watch the other one, Katydid only has the small one. So Katydid, I would have to go hop to each of these islands to get up to the Arctic. Proteus, I don't have to do that. Proteus, I can go 40 kilometers past here, which is probably to here. And then what I can do is I can actually probably pick up Tajin. So I might be able to go from here all the way up to here by tracking this station, and then get to Tajin. So once I get in this area here, what I'll do is put in Tajin, and then I'll go directly to Tajin, and that allows me to use 2 points here and here to get along this whole distance. I mean, Katie did with that smaller antenna, I can't. So next thing I need to do is check fuel. All right, so we have about 3,000 pounds aside. We started with 8,000 pounds. We're down to 6,000 pounds. So we burned 2,000 pounds to go from here to here. So that's actually not bad. Let me check temps. Temps are getting hot, so let's go ahead and let's go full prop. Let's start slowing down a little bit. We're getting hot on temp here. Let me go and bring it down. So I want to, we're at a good altitude. I could climb too. I just want to, so you see, we made it a good ways. Again, I'm doing air cooling. If I threw in some 5x5 electric radiators, this thing would not overheat. I don't want that. I want to make it so that I actually have to like manage my own temperatures. I know a lot of people like things automated, and there's nothing wrong with that. See, like right now, we're static. We're going up just a hair. Let me just, okay, now we're decreasing. Let's see if we keep decreasing. Okay, so now we're losing. So we're still going 115 knots, which is good for this type of airplane. You know, in real life, you have to do that sort of thing. Now, in real life, also, the standard temperature inversion tends to be about 2 degrees per 1,000 feet. So we're at 10,000 feet. That's 20 degrees cooler than at sea level. So let's say it was, I'll do it in Fahrenheit, but let's say it was 60 degrees on the ground. We'd be at 40 degrees up here. And if we go up to 20,000 feet, well, so let's climb. I don't know how much the temperature changes if we go up. Let's go ahead and climb. Let's go to 20,000 feet. So if we go up to 20,000 feet, you know, theoretically in real life, we'd be losing another 20 degrees. So if we're at 40 degrees down here, at 20,000 feet, we'd be at 20 degrees. You know, and a plane like this could probably go up maybe 25,000 feet. So you figure that's another degree and a half. No, it's more than that. That'd be 10 degrees. So you drop another 10 degrees. So we'd be down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And so as you imagine, that's really going to be cooling. So see, we're already dropping. Some of these are hotter than others, so I have to keep an eye. For some reason, my lefts are running hotter than my rights, so I need to check those, see why. So I'll put that on my list. Let's see, port engines. Port engines are hot. Okay, so port engines are running hotter than the starboard engines, so that's something I have to check. But you know, by climbing up to a higher altitude, that's allowing us. We do have. We are not normally aspirated. As you can see, we have a ram here. We also have turbos. We're turbocharged, and so we're actually supercharged. We're not turbocharged. In real life, you probably have turbo supers or turbos, but we are supercharged. So we're packing more air in. So in real life, as you're getting up there, the density of the air is getting less. So by putting it through a turbo or supercharger, you're packing that air together, increasing air density. So you can go up at a higher altitude. You have less air resistance. You're fighting, so you're not pushing as much air to get through. And with turbos and supers, you're actually still getting pretty good performance. Like, see, this one is cold, cold, cold. That one is, and these are like way hotter than I like. This one here is running really hot. So I'm going to take some screenshots. That way I can just check them. So that very well, a lot of them were, I did copying, so I want to make sure I didn't do any copy errors in getting these engines. But if I get them running as cold as this one, good, that would be beautiful, dude. That means I could run even hotter. All right, so we're doing all right here. I need to check it again. So let's go ahead and so let's talk about how to navigate. This kind of turned into a mess just because I can't track with my autopilot the stations properly. But I need to go on a heading away from this radial anyway. I'm going to have to figure out how to do this right. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. So what I think I'm going to do is, so I was trying to set up a hierarchy. I don't think that's going to work right. What I think I want to do is I want heading hold and I want heading bearing. And so I either want to do heading hold or heading bearing. The difference is heading radio will switch this from either the keypad to here. The other thing I could do is if I put a 0 in this keypad, which would be easy for me to manually set 0, 0, that would then make it so that it automatically defaults to radio. So I could do that. That's a thought I have. So I just need to work through these panels, because what I need to be able to do is read where this station is, and then click heading bearing would follow that, and then or do my heading. Let's go ahead and let's figure out what to do next. So next thing I need to do is I need to pop off, because of the way my autopilot's screwed up right now, 348's where I'm headed. I'm going to pull off heading hold for a second. Actually, let's leave it on. So this station I'm still reading. So if I know that, so what was I going on? A 3-4. I was going on like a 345. Let's see that. So this would be north, a north radial. Let's say that is a 350. So let's see a 350. Let's me do compass reciprocals. Okay, so if a 350 goes to that station, I need to know the reciprocal. So 350. So a 170. So what I want is I want the needle showing me 170 behind me. So the needle will point behind me at 170. If it's pointing 170 behind me, I know I'm going 350 north. And that's how you do the reciprocals on these. With VORs, you can maintain the same course. That's a more modern, you know, it's still pretty old now, but it's not the most modern system. But so let's go ahead, and I need to figure this out here. So I need to figure out first, that's already in there. So let's go ahead and take off heading hold, heading radio. So 173. So see, it's 173. So we're actually pretty good on course. Now I want to do the reciprocal 173. So if I do 173, my heading should be 355. And so I know it's probably confusing everybody, but this is how you navigate with one of these old-timey ADFs. This is an old system. Like, if you know, this aircraft is somewhat inspired by the short Sunderland, somewhat, but that era of boat would be using this sort of system based off of it's essentially like AM radio stations. That's what it's kind of based off of. So I'm also considering, like, my new trainer. It has kind of a brown dash. I'm considering kind of a brown dash. I tend to do this black, this kind of matte black in my cockpits. It gives good contrast between the gauges. It's not too bright, especially in game. The light bounces off the really light colors too much and is very bright. So that's helpful. So I might go to that brown. I like that brown, especially this era of, this is retro-futuristic. It has some futuristic elements, but it also has some retro elements, so I really like that. And so that's kind of what this aircraft's doing. I need to move my numbers up on my tail number, so that it is hit by the logo light, and I need to make them bigger. I'm going to make them big, but it's Charlie 6893 Alpha is that. So anyways, so let's talk about navigation here and how I'm doing this. I know this is kind of screwy. What I'll end up doing, let me do a fuel check. So I'm doing real pilotage stuff here. Constantly, okay, check your fuel. Yep, go ahead, go back about your business. Aviate, navigate, communicate. Part of aviate, check your fuel. So you see me, but we're doing great on fuel, man. We're down to, we're about 4,100 pounds. We started at 8,000 pounds. So we've used half our fuel, right, to get to here. Okay, so we kind of jogged it, so we might not make it all the way back. I'll call it back at the workbench if need be, but I'm just testing this out, and again, I'm having autopilot issues. So what was I doing? So let's put it in perspective here. This will hold 70,000 pounds of fuel. So we took off with 8,000 pounds of fuel. It will hold 70,000 pounds of fuel. So 8,000 pounds of fuel. If it doesn't get us all the way there, it'll probably get us about here. All right, so that's this is pretty economical aircraft. And I can hold so much fuel in this, I could do like 10 round trips. Now, one of the things I want to do is, one of the most profitable things you can do in this game is, if I take this vehicle over here, so what would be kind of cool, right? I can't launch Proteus at home base, but home base is right here, right? So let's say we fly Proteus over, I land. And then, let's say I send over, I don't know, let's say I send over something. You know what I could do? I could take a tanker, or I could take a barge or a tug. This would be a cool mission. Take a tanker, barge, something. Even take Vrigeau out with a barge. Bring it over here to the refinery island. Buy diesel. Diesel costs 35 cents, okay? Bring the diesel back over here and stick it in my workbench here. Okay, so now I have, say, I don't know, 100,000, 20,000 liters. I think, what do I have? What can I hold? I think I can hold, what do I hold here? Something like 30,000 liters of fuel in Proteus, if I remember. So let's say I put 40 in here. I can fly Proteus over here. I can suck all the fuel out and put it in Proteus. All right. And what is called is ferrying fuel. You're ferrying fuel. You're carrying cheap fuel with you, so you don't have to buy expensive fuel. And I can fly up to BVG, which BVG is the container port. Let me see if I can find it. It moves around. Nope. Where's BVG? BVG's right here. So look at the price on diesel, $5.47. So if I could take up, say, 20,000 liters, that's huge. That's pretty good money. Let's grab a calc real quick. So was it 547? 547 minus 0.35. That's $5.12 times 20,000. We're over 100 grand, 102 grand just ferrying diesel up to the Arctic. So what I could even do is, like, say I want to do a container mission. See, the issue is I don't know how to get a container up here because I'm not landing at BVG. I wish there was some way to land it, or the plane there. But on the way up to Tajin, I could dump off my excess fuel and make huge money. So that's kind of a thought. Checking my fuel in. All right, so let's keep navigating here. So we're aviating. Now we'll navigate. All right, so this is probably 20 kilometers, and I'm going to stop guessing, and I'm going to put a waypoint there, and I'm going to look at it. 25 kilometers. All right, so remember, because that has a huge antenna, and we have a huge antenna, we can go 40 kilometers before I lose signal from there. So we could travel another good bit of kilometers away. So I'm going to continue to travel here, and the hope is... Again, I'm not perfectly on course. I don't really care about that. I'm making sure all my stations receive, make sure I can read them all. When I fix the autopilot, I'll actually do it as a mission instead of me testing these out. I'll get the autopilot kind of jazzed up and working the way I want it. Again, this is part of, like, what I always say is you learn what your craft needs in a career game. And I think it's really true is the... by going through this career game, I'm seeing, oh, nope, my autopilot's not functioning for me. Oh, I keep clicking my gear instead of my brake. They might be too close together. Maybe I want to move my brake down to here. So these are the things that you kind of do. I might move my parking brake over here. Now, generally, the captain on the left side will taxi, and the reason is often the captain has the tiller, and what a tiller is it's a little handle, and so often your steering wheel, whether it be your nose or your tail, it's limited to, with your rudder pedals, it might be limited to, say, 45 degrees. That's what I think it was on the Embraer. It was limited to 45 degrees. So you steer with your feet, your rudder pedals, and then what would happen is the captain had a tiller on their side, and if they push the tiller down, activate it, they could turn it left and right. And that would give you 70 degrees. And then they had a button where they could disconnect the steering, and then it would turn 360 degrees for pushing it with a tug. And so you have the tiller on the captain's side. The emergency brake / parking brake turned into an emergency brake on the Embraer. So, like, if you had hydraulic problem, you could pull that parking brake a couple times and slam the brakes on. And so for that reason, it was in the center. That way, either pilot could reach it if they needed to. So I really don't want to put the parking brake over here so that only one pilot can use it, because that's any necessary items that both pilots should reach. Do that. So I think what I'll do is, I used to have a spoiler here. I took the spoilers off, as you can see. I think what I'll do is move my parking brake down here and put it there, because I don't use it that often, and flaps I pretty much set and forget, and I don't touch my flaps much, so moving this here will get it away from me touching my gear. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, let's see where we're at here. I'm checking my fuel again. So I think we'd be pretty good on fuel. So we're 35, so we're within, so we're looking here, we're about 5 kilometers of losing all signal. We're getting cold too. Okay, so I have to be careful. Even with my heater on, I'm getting cold, so I might need more heaters. Let's go ahead and start to descend. We're also high. Let's go down to 5,000 feet. So now we need the temperature. We need to warm up. I'm gonna get hurt here. So I need that's important. So I might want to add a low. I have a lower deck heater now. Maybe I'll add an upper deck heater, and we'll see if both heaters will get me warm enough. So that's another note to add on there. Add heater. Okay. So again, I'm learning all these things that I need for my career saves. So let's go ahead, and I need to take heading hold off here for a second. But again, remember, we're getting outside of range. We're almost out of range of this station. So we've been using this station to navigate the whole time. We get 40 this way. We get 40, a ring of 40 all around. We can read it. And so now, so think of it as a ring. We have a ring going around here. So let me take a quick pick. I'm going to quickly show you in paint, and then I can show you a little bit more accurate what I'm talking about here. Give you a little visual. Okay, so here we are. So let me go ahead and grab, I want to circle. All right, so so this is our station right here, this house. So let's say we have a 40 nautical mile ring, and that's our ring around that station, right? So I'm going to actually undo it and go up here. So let's go from here. So let's say that's our 40 nautical mile ring, right? So what I need to do is to be able to navigate successfully there, let's say this station here, I probably have to piggyback on that station. Let's say that's 40 nautical miles. So now see how they overlap? So that means I can read the next station and travel to this. So let's do that. So, okay, I need to count my islands because the way I did this was, the way I named them was, I didn't name, so I named them by island. So this was, it was 2 Arctic, 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. So it's going to be TA4, to the Arctic 4, 950. Okay, so the frequency is 950, so I just have all my freaks written down. So 950, so I need to go in here. I need to put 950. All right, 950. Let's go ahead and switch that back over. All right, let's hit it. 151, that's not right. Okay, so that's incorrect. So let me see which station it is. I'm gonna see what Tajin is. Maybe I might have a chance of reading Tajin. Now, it's okay if we get in a little blind spot. You know, it's not the end of the world if we have to just navigate kind of on a straight course. That happens over the ocean, especially on transcontinental nav. You actually lose all contact with ATC, and you just kind of navigate on the path. There's nobody out there. So that's 750. That is Tajin. So Tajin is our next station. So Tajin is up here. That's this one here. So we probably can't read Tajin yet. Tajin probably reads maybe there. We're probably close to reading Tajin. Let's hit it. Okay, I'm not getting no read off Tajin. So let's continue on our heading there. And we should be able to pick up Tajin soon. All right, I'm still getting cold. That's fine. I'm going to check my fuel again. Fuel's most important. Let's put 300 liters on this side, or be about 150 liters on this side. Now I'm short on that side. We actually cross-feed pretty fast. Okay, good. We're even now. Doesn't have to be perfect, but see, this one's running super cold, man. I need to see what... So let me write that down. Engine number 3 is a Rockstar. So engine 3 is my Rockstar cooler. All right, so I need to see why engine 3 cools like it's going out of style, man. Look at that, 61 degrees. See, like my RPMs aren't off. That's running a higher RPM than the rest. The props are all the same. So this engine here, my number 3 engine is a Rockstar. I have to see why that's cooling so well and why these are behind it on cooling. See, like that's 92 degrees. This is my hottest engine. That's my Rockstar. This is well ahead my Rockstar, so I have to check on that. And it's been doing that lately, so it's been doing that on all our flights. This has been the best. This has been our hottest engine, so I need to check. I very well could have screwed up connecting something. So, all right, let's check on Tajin here in a second, checking fuel. I'm just kind of going back and forth, checking, making sure my altitude. We are descending. We're just descending. I need to also go in my autopilot and increase the climb and descent rates. They're a little bit slow. So I might I'm going to probably make, right now I have it set to a maximum of 15 up, 1,500 feet per minute down. I think what I'm going to change it to is 2,500 up, 3,500 down. You know, and the reason is when you're climbing, right, you need power to go up. You're fighting gravity. When you're coming down, you're actually pulling your engines back usually, so you can actually descend a little bit faster. You just don't want it too high because you have to have it then try to make sure you level out. So if you're descending a small altitude, you want to make sure the PID's set up to catch it. So, all right, let's go ahead. You know what I'll do here? Let's go ahead and, so let's see where this station is. I should have a waypoint. I should have an ADF there. Okay, so that would be within range. Tajin's got to be close. So Tajin's ADF is right there. And so that is, oh, Tajin should be in range now. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take off heading hold. Let's go heading radio 351. Okay, so 351, so Tajin is reading. So I need to switch to 351. So 351. Okay, so perfect. So we have a very small non-overlap area. And again, that's using two huge antennas. No, like the Cormorant has a small antenna. Katie has a small antenna. So, you know, I have to double check and teleport around. But like I said, I think, so this is the last main island that has an ADF. Then this one, I believe, has an ADF. Yeah, this one, I believe, has an ADF. I'll have to fly and check. This one here definitely has an ADF. This, the salvage yard has an ADF, and then Tajin has an ADF. So what I want to be able to do is with a small aircraft like Katie or the Cormorant, I want to be able to go from here to here, up to here, up to here, to Tajin. So I'll have to go from station to station to station with that one. Because I have the two huge antennas, I can go from here all the way up and grab Tajin, and I can pretty much do this with two stations. Because of the overlap. And all you do is, you know, I lose signal for about, say, 3 or 4 kilometers. So what you do is, you know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, essentially what I'll do here is I'll stand here right on top of the ADF. And so this would all be on navigation charts. So you'd have a navigation chart. It would look like this. And it would show a line. And that's what I'll do. I'll draw a line from Tajin to here. And it would say the ADF course is going to be outbound on the reciprocal of what the heading is. So let's say the heading is 353. So if the heading was 353, the reciprocal is 173. So it show 173 course from the creative island takes you to Tajin. So I'd go on a 153 course, make sure the needle stays at 153 the whole time. And I would keep the needle pointing at 153, 153. And then for 2 or 3, or let's say 5 kilometers, I lose signal. I can't reach Tajin yet, and I lose signal of this because I'm in the no man's zone. All I do is I keep on that heading of 353 with the, you know, because it's the reciprocal of 173. And then as soon as Tajin comes in, well, then I can track directly to Tajin, or if I want to keep on the course, I would then do the 353 course to Tajin. And so if the needle's pointing at Tajin, it would be 353. If it's pointing away behind me, it would be the reciprocal 173. And that's how you do it. You essentially make radial lines off of the equipment. So that's how it's supposed to function here. Let's see where we're at here. We're 12 aside. We're still good on fuel. So we're 33 kilometers. We're currently doing about 2 miles per minute. Let's check my temps. My temps are good. So let's go ahead and let's come up on the throttle. Let's gain some speed for a little bit. Let's goose it. So we're going up to about 180 knots here. I was thinking about maybe, I really like the 3-bladed props. I might do a test with 4 blades. I don't want to go more than 4 blades. But 3s are kind of what I'm liking. A lot of the flying boats had 3s. So I'm definitely having a heater problem. So these are all good things that I'm learning that my aircraft needs. Like, you know, at first I thought, okay, that one heater would be fine. It's not. Thought my autopilots were working well. They're not. So all these things I need to fix, like little things like my logo light. So one thing I was thinking is putting them, I can't really put them in there. I was going to put them in on pivots, but that's not that thick. I was going to put in pivots and have windows and angle them, but I think what I'll just do is, you know, I might move those move the two of those in, and I need to make that tail number bigger, and I need to make it a contrasting color and move it up so that the lights also show the tail number. So a bunch of cool things to add to Proteus, but this system's working well. Even though like the system works, I can read my stations fine. The issue is just me. It's just me having issues with my autopilot, the way I set my autopilot up. So I just need to work on that, but it's good to learn these things. My turn slip has been showing the ball off the whole time. I think I need to work on that a little bit. It's not my system, but it works off of angular momentum sensor for yaw, and I think it's just super sensitive, so I might make it less sensitive. Let's check make sure I'm losing temp. Okay, I'm back to losing temp. So we goosed it pretty well. Got a little bit of speed out of there. 23 kilometers. So 23 kilometers, it's about half in nautical miles. So let's say we're talking about 11 miles. We're doing 2 miles a minute. So we're talking, let's say, six minutes to Tajin. So not bad. We're not really descending all that fast. Our VSI is only like 500 feet per minute, so I need to work on that, definitely. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm freezing to death right now, so I'll go ahead and take player damage. Yeah, I'm going to take player damage off just because of the heat. I have an issue. So I'm going to go ahead and take the AP off, and I'm going to manually drop my nose and get down there, try to get a little bit warmer. Again, it's the Arctic, but I do have one heater, so hopefully one heater will heat me up when I get down there. I'm also way high. You know, like I said, we're 6 minutes out. We're doing 500 feet per minute, right? We have 14,000 feet, so you double that, so that's 30 minutes. We're going to be there in 6. So this is the type of quick mental arithmetic you need to know. So I want to be down to a pattern altitude of about, say, 1,000 feet. So we need to go down about 12,000 feet. We're going about 2 miles per minute, so that gives me 6 minutes. We're currently about 9 minutes out, so that's perfect. So I need to go down about 2,000 feet per minute. I'm actually probably beating that. I think that's probably 1,000 there, 15.2. So I'm probably actually doing pretty well now. But it's 53 feet per second. I'm going to change that. That's Sky's PFD. He has it in feet per second, which is fine, but I'm going to change it to feet per minute. That's just what I'm used to. So let's do, what is it, 50 times, that's easy. That's 3,000, 300 feet per minute. 300 feet per minute, yeah. That can't be right. I bet you a decimal place is missing. It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be. I have to be doing... No, that's fast. I don't know. I'd have to read it. I'm 20 degrees nose down here, so we're picking up some speed too because I dropped the nose. So let's check the... Let's put player damage back on. Okay, see, we're heating up again. So once I descended below 10,000 feet, we're starting to get warmer. Again, in real life, it seems like it's somewhat modeled in game. For every, the standard rate is 2 degrees per 1,000 feet. So we descended down. We gained about 10 degrees, you know, from that 15,000 feet we're at to where we're at now, even more now. So we're probably up about 12, 14 degrees warmer than when we were. So I'm going to try putting in 2 heaters. I'll put an upper deck heater, a lower deck heater, and what I might do is kitty corner them, put one in the back on the low end and one upstairs on the front, and that will hopefully give me good cross range and give me plenty of heat, so I don't need to worry about that, because, you know, a lot of these aircraft at high altitude, you should be well below freezing or close to freezing, especially on cold days. So. All right, so we're currently doing better than 2 miles a minute. We're coming up on 11, so we're talking about, you know, so we're about 5.5 minutes. That's kilometers, so that's 5 nautical miles. So we're closer than that. We're, yeah, so I keep trying to do it in nautical miles, and it's reading kilometers. So we're about 5 miles out. We're going 2 miles a minute, so we'll be there in 2 minutes. And you see we're descending nicely. We're down, coming through 5,000 now. And I'll do a little RP here. We should be on departure the whole time now, or we should be on different approach frequencies. 93 Alpha, go ahead and switch over to 127.6 for Tajin approach. 127.6, 93 Alpha. All right, we'll switch frequency. 127.6, whatever I just said. 6893 Alpha, we are going through 3,000 feet down to 1,000 feet. 93 Alpha, go ahead and continue. All right, he's just giving me a continue command, so that's just telling me to keep doing what I'm doing. 1,000? Is that 1,000? I can't read it. 1,000. Okay, we're still descending. Are we descending? Yeah, we're still descending. Okay. I'm trying to. I don't know the runway number yet. I have to go to each of these runways and figure out the number. So I'm gonna just set up my own vectors. So vectors are just headings. Where the hell is that now? And I3 Alpha, turn right, heading 020. Right heading 020. 93 Alpha. 93 Alpha, turn right, heading 020. Expect the visual for runway. Oh, what is it? Runway 30 at Tajin. All right, we'll head 020 down to 1,000 feet, and we'll expect the runway 30 at Tajin visual. 93 Alpha, runways in sight. 93 Alpha, you're clear to land. 93 Alpha, clear to land. All right, so I'm doing this quickly. We're right on top of it, so autopilot's coming off. Flaps, gear down. So if you're a little bit behind, which is where I'm at, I'm way behind here. Start calling things out. Descent checklist. Set props. So he'll tell me set props if I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to set them to my landing prop setting. So you see that mental arithmetic, how important that is. I'm quickly changing. I'm quickly figuring how far I am, how fast I'm getting there, how much do I need to descend. Need to add power. I'm getting a little slow. This plane loves to go slow, though. It really does. It's beautiful. The flight characteristics of this. I'm in love with how this thing flies. It really flies beautifully. Big wing, lots of flap. 93 Alpha, go ahead and switch over to tower. So he didn't clear me to land. I need to switch over to tower for that. So I'm cleared the approach. Taxi lights on. We'll switch over to tower on 20.9. 93 Alpha, thanks. 93 Alpha, we are visual runway 30. 93 Alpha, clear to land runway 30. Clear to land runway 30. 93 Alpha. Landing checklist. Gear down. Flaps set. Lights are on. Landing checklist complete. Thank you. Wind check. So you call on the radio sometime. Wind check. Wind is calm. So I'll tell you. So right now I'm aiming at the aiming bars. Those two squares. You see the squiggly lines? The smaller airports, the smaller runways in game don't have as many. That's how it is in real life too. The big solid squares, the ones I'm aiming at. Landing gear down 3 green. You often check it right as you are about to land to make sure that your gear is down. That's the most important thing. I'm going to gently start picking my nose up, pulling throttle back, and I'm flaring. And that's all she wrote there. Nice landing. This plane is just docile and behaves itself, and it just flies beautifully. Has really good slow speed characteristics. It has an enormous wing. It has tons of power, and it has big flaps. So all those things are helping me get slow. There's my... Let's take a picture with that. I'd rather if I didn't have all my lights on and a ton of smoke. I have to kill my lights. Crap. All right, that ruined my picture, but let's go ahead. Oh, click. Okay. Wish I didn't have all the smoke going, but so this is my ADF here. So these are what I put in with the add-on. So these are actually broadcasting their GPS coordinates. What would happen in real life is all they'd be doing is they would broadcast their position via radio, and you'd be homing into the antenna, essentially. So the needle will be pointing at this antenna, and so that's kind of faked in game. The reason I'm doing them as physicalized stations is that's how it would be. If somebody was asking why I don't just do them as GPS, that's an RNAV system, and I would love to have an RNAV system, but this is kind of retro futuristic. I want this retro system, and this is more fun for me. So what RNAV is RNAV is the latest and the greatest. RNAV is all GPS, and so with GPS, not only can you determine a point on the ground, you can also determine a vertical point, and so you are able to put waypoints in the sky, and that gives you physicalized waypoints you can go to. The old school navigation thing, you had to have multiple VORs crossing for triangulation to know where your waypoint is. So you'd have multiple navigation radios, and you'd tune in your two needles. So if say you wanted to find a point, and you knew you'd go out on the Tajin VOR on a 170 outbound, so from Tajin on a 170, and then you would tune in the military base. I'm just going to make up a number, 0102 or 010 from, and when those two intersect, you know you're at a defined waypoint with RNAV. You're doing it all with GPS. So the reason I'm doing these as physicalized buildings is I want it to be an actual ADF system. And so the ADF system is reporting the position of the shack. And I could fake it, but I'm in a single player game. And so I'm not getting any performance loss because these are always in the world. The island, I believe, disappears when I'm out of range, but this will stay static in the world the way I have it set up. These are not really intensive. I should have put physics flutters in, I forgot to, but I'm not getting any lag from them. So let's go ahead and... So I'm not hitting the brakes now. I need to pull my throttle back. I'm still powered up because I don't want to have to go... 93 Alpha, you can go ahead and turn right and park tail to... let me check my runway heading. So runway 32 at Tajin. Let me do runway 32, and then I'll get the reciprocal. And then, so let me make my call here. 93 Alpha, you can go ahead and turn right, and you can park tail south. All right, we'll pull in front of the hangar, tail south, 93 Alpha, thanks. And you can go ahead and stay with me. You don't have to switch to ground. Often these small airports, you know, all you're doing is the guy literally standing next to him for ground, or it could even be one guy doing both ground and tower frequency. And so there's no point in me switching to ground. He would just you know, you can just say stay with me because you know, if it's one guy, he's going to be doing ground frequency. So instead of, you know, he'll just tell me how to taxi. You know, you'd ask, do you want me to switch to ground? And go, no, you can stay with me. Because he's, you know, it's the same frequency. He knows there's nobody in the pattern. Often you don't want crosstalk on the tower freak, so you might have you switch. This tail wheel is giving me problems. Like once it gets past 45, it doesn't want to steer. So I have to, you know what I should do? I can't really do it. Again, I wish they would let us report position with the small pivots, because what I would do is I'd switch my brake system to when this goes past 45, that's when it does the brakes. But I could probably actually do it with something else. I'm going to set my brake here. So I'm slamming on the brakes now. I'm slamming on my brake with my spacebar. And now I need to come back on all my engines, and I'm going to come up on this outbound here, this outboard. Just gently. So I need to be very careful here that I don't hit the hangar. It's not a huge deal if I hit the hangar, but I'm trying to get third person. I'm literally trying to press like 4 keys at once. So I have that outboard engine pushing, and I have the my left brake going, and I'm steering my tail wheel. So I'm using all these systems to help me. And I'm gonna go ahead and just set the parking brake. All right, I'm gonna go down. So one of the reasons why I'm struggling here is my prop should be set to taxi prop. I had too much prop in, so it's doing too much for me. But I had a lot of fun doing that, despite the autopilot being a little screwed up. So I'm going to change the systems up a little bit here. Trying to think of the best way to do this. So what I essentially need to be doing here is I need to be able to put in a waypoint for the GPS system, and I need to be able to do the radio system as well. And so what I'll do is currently the way this system works, let me go ahead and kill some engines here. So let's look at our... Oh, geez, we were low on fuel. We're super low on fuel, dude. Fuel was down to 252 pounds a side. That's ridiculous. I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna RP it here for now. I'm just gonna shut him down, dude. That is, I didn't check my fuel. See, you know, you saw how many times I checked my fuel. Still not enough. I need to check the fuel even more, man. I was behind, but that's pretty damn scary, man. That was close to running out of fuel. I would have just kicked on infinite fuel to finish it, because the point of this isn't to cause me grief. The point of this is for testing. This is the testing phase. So anyway, we're down to 252, but that's not actually not that bad. Let's see what we burned. I'm trying to, my mind keeps going back and forth to other things. So let's go. So we started at about 8,000, and we're down to 500. So we burned 7,500 pounds. I need to then divide that by 7. So that's 1,071 gallons of fuel. And then I need to multiply that by 3.785. That's going to be 4,055 liters. I need to multiply that by 0.35. So that trip, let's go to the map here. So that trip from FJ Warner to the military base to the, what the hell is it called? I forget what it's called. It's this island, whatever the hell this island's called. Some of them are labeled, some of them are not. Creative Island to Creative Island. All the way up here, I went from Creative Island, grabbed Tajin. So we tracked outbound on this. I did check the course. We followed the course out. Grabbed Tajin's course, came in. We got vectors from the tower to come in and land. That whole trip cost me a grand total of $1,400 in game. So $1,400 for me to go from FJ Warner to here. That's it. So as you can see, we were holding 8,000 pounds. We can hold 70,000 pounds of fuel. So let's say 8 times. Let's do it accurately. So let's say let's see what we have here. So 75,000 pounds divided by 8,000 pounds. That's 9.3. So we could have gone 9.3 times this distance. So that's 45 miles. We could go, so we get about a 400-mile range on that. So we could go 10 times this range. So we could go back and forth. So we could do 5 round trips to Tajin, and we could even go straight. Like, I have another beacon here. So what we could even do to be better is we could go from FJ Warner. We could go straight up to here, to the Coast Guard Island. We could go about, probably about to here, and then we'd be in no man's land for, say, maybe 10 kilometers, pick up Tajin, go there, cut the distance down. But we could do 10 round trips on 1 tank of fuel. To put that in perspective. So pretty cool vehicle, very profitable. I had a lot of fun with that. So of course, I found some issues. Need to work on heat. Definitely need to work on this system. I'll go through that at some point and get that all worked up. I'll probably do it on screen, let you guys kind of see a couple things. I'll keep working on this. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.